Hello everyone, this is the group IMA. We are Iker, Manuel, Marcela and Alejandro. We are students of the Master of Statistics at KU Leuven. We've been working on this project for the course of Data Visualization in Data Science. The aim of this project is to analyze the gender inequality in the film industry from the director's perspective, so we focused our research on how the directors select their cast. We're interested in whether the leading roles are played more by men or women and if this affects the popularity of the movie. We also investigated how the cast influences other dimensions such as budget, revenue, or rating of the film. Finally, we examined changes through the career of a given director with respect to these aspects. For the project, we focused on the movies of the 21 most popular directors of the last 50 years. There are several dimensions in our movie dataset, like the year of release, budget and revenue, rating and popularity, and so on. Also, we have a dataset of directors and another one for actors. On this first visualization, we show the network: blue nodes for male actors, pink for actresses, and green for directors. Bigger nodes represent more popularity, and wider links mean that they have worked together in more movies. On the top left is the isotype plot that helps us find the director we are interested on the network just by hovering on the names. Here we can see that there are no women among the top directors, and there is a huge difference between the number of men and women in the list of the 100 most popular actors. So we can conclude that the gender gap in the film industry is remarkably visible in this network. For example, we can appreciate those actors who have worked with many popular actors and actresses such as Ridley Scott or Steven Spielberg, others that have worked with only a few such as David Lynch and John Carpenter. We can also see that there are some strong preferences in some directors, for instance Tim Burton with Johnny Depp or Quentin Tarantino with Samuel L. Jackson. There are very prominent directors such as Francis Ford Coppola or Christopher Nolan that have worked with at most two popular actresses. However, we notice that there are directors who have worked with more popular actresses than actors. For instance, Tim Burton and Peter Jackson. The latter was a particular finding since he is well known for the Lord of the Rings franchise and its casting is mostly composed of males. From this point, we ask whether this trend is the same once we examine in further detail the casting of their movies, which, spoiler alert, was not the case. To investigate this in detail, we came up with this other interactive visualization that corresponds to this scatter plot combined with a packed circles visual. It is intended to show the details of the movies for a given director in terms of the roles given to the actors and actresses and the other variables in the dataset. Here it's possible to choose any director and observe the proportion of women in their movies, and the size represents the role order. At the same time, it is possible to see how their movies stand between the movies of other directors and the evolution of his filmography over time, comparing budget and revenue. Also, it is possible to change the scale to compare in terms of average rating of the movies, popularity, or number of votes received. This visualization pinpoints that recent movies are more popular and have more votes. However, the average rating of the movies does not exhibit this tendency. In addition, we see some difference between the filmographies of different directors. For example, the filmographies of Quentin Tarantino and David Fincher tend to be more popular than Wes Craven's or David Lynch's. Also, within each director, there are specific trends over time in the popularity and vote count in their movies. For instance, Francis Ford Coppola has a declining trajectory opposite to Clint Eastwood, which sees an increase in the popularity of his movies. Other directors like Steven Spielberg fluctuate considerably, while Woody Allen, Tim Burton, and David Cronenberg are more steady. The previous results show that there is indeed a gender gap regarding the proportion of women in the director's casting and the leading roles. Within each director, it is difficult to conclude about an association between popularity, score, and votes with the role of the women in their movies, since we found very popular movies or well-rated, led by women, as movies with the opposite characteristics. So we consider that the gender gap and its effect should be also explored with different approaches. Thank you.